Aloha, it's Dave Lawrence. How are you? I hope you're having a great day, and a big mahalo for joining me as we welcome a very special guest set to play Honolulu and Maui. She and her band are doing the Blaisdell Arena with the Stylistics, the Crystals, the Manhattans. It's Friday, August 10th. They'll be playing the Mac with the Manhattans Sunday, August 12th as well. They are credited with being the first girl group, formed in 1957 in Passaic, New Jersey. From guests of early rock DJ Murray the K to being booked to perform with artists like Etta James and Little Richard. She's got stories to tell. It's our pleasure to connect with her ahead of this latest tour through the islands. You know her from classics like I Met Him on a Sunday, Tonight's the Night, and of course, Will You Love Me Tomorrow? It's a thrill to welcome original member of the Shirelles, Beverly Lee. Aloha and mahalo, Beverly. Thank you so much for doing this.
Aloha. It's my pleasure. How are you?
I'm very good. Thank you so much. And how are you on this fine day that we get a chance to talk to you?
Well, I'm blessed, but it's quite hot, so I won't complain. I'm here to feel the heat.
And you're going to be bringing it when you arrive here. I am I've been looking at, I'm blessed myself. I've got this listener, Steve, the mystery loyal listener who emails me all this interesting rock and music history from the islands. And as I was looking at some of the material that he generously shared with me, I'm assuming that your first visit was April 1963. Does that sound right?
Yes.
Do you have any recollection of coming with Gene Pitney, the Cascades, and Dick and Dee Dee playing the Civic Auditorium in Honolulu?
Was that a Dick Clark tour, I believe?
It could have been.
I believe so, because I remember Gene Pitney used the term Menahoni a lot.
Yeah, right, the little magical people.
Yes.
How did that come up?
I don't remember, but I know it stuck with me. Gene was a really nice guy.
And you remember him using that word. That's cool. And Dick Clark, was he here and part of the festivities?
Yes, Dick was part of that tour. We came over touring with him because, I'll never forget, we got caught in the storm on the way over. And at the time, they had an aerial that went from the nose of the plane to the tail, and it broke. And all you could hear was that lashing about.
Wow. Dick Clark. And that was, how long had you known him at that point?
Oh, goodness. We went on Bandstand, like, probably in 59. And we made numerous appearances. Dick was like a big brother to us.
What's your favorite memory of being here?
Well, we did all the... I was so proud that we did all of the islands with Dick. We went from one island to another. We did all of them. And then I brought my niece back for her graduation.
Wow.
She graduated from high school.
So when you came with Dick, it was one tour, but it went around the state to a lot of different islands.
Yes. And then we came over and we toured with other people. You know, I've been there quite a few times.
So how many times do you think you've played here?
Oh, I don't even remember. It's quite a few.
Wow, a lot through the years. Was that the kind of thing where you just do the show and it's just a professional thing where you see each other periodically, or did you end up becoming friends?
Oh, Dick was a friend. I had spoken to him just recently before he had passed. I would call from time to time, and I kept in touch with him and his wife, Carrie. I sent him birthday cards and anniversary cards, and he always, would send me a card or call to thank me. And if I called Dick called back himself. Was no secretary that called.
What's your fondest memory of working with him that comes to mind now that we're talking about Dick Clark?
A night that after the show, he used one of the banquet rooms, and we all went and performed as each other. It was Tom Jones and Nell Carter, Peter and Gordon, and Major Lance, and some other acts. But anyhow, Doris and I went on as Peter and Gordon, and Shirley dressed up as Tom Jones. And the guys, we made them up because we wore their clothes and they wore our clothes. It was fantastic.
That's fun stuff. And great that he did tours, so he was sort of like a pioneer in that way, too, because that was an era, being a younger guy, he had segued into TV so much by then, so I would think of him as a TV connection for you, but there's also, as you're pointing out, the whole live performance on the roadside, too.
Right, bringing an integrated show, into town. As a matter of fact, there were some towns that we went to, we couldn't stay in the same hotels, and you couldn't stop at some of the rest stops to get something to eat, so Dick would take our orders for us.
Because of the segregation, you guys couldn't eat in the same place. And Dick Clark, you can remember him getting...
He was always gracious and a wonderful man, a wonderful friend.
And he would have to get the food. I mean, what a sign of a different cultural time, though, to have lived through.
Yes.
I mean, your career began in a different era culturally for America. I mean, I remember reading some of the stuff you did, according to what I've read, and again, anything on the internet, who knows the veracity of it, but the first integrated show in Alabama?
Yes.
What is your recollection of that? Tell us about that historic appearance.
Just before we went on to perform, I'll never forget, we heard a lot of popping sounds, real loud popping sounds, and we didn't know what it was. People thought someone might have been firing a gun, but it turned out that some bulbs had exploded. But before we got there, we were told that the Ku Klux Klan had marched, and Agler flew us down. They chartered a plane. We could not leave the grounds of the hotel we were staying at. They had the National Guard, guarding us. But nobody panicked when that happened. The people were there for the show, and they intended for everything to go smoothly, and other than that, it did.
This is Birmingham, I'm thinking? Was it Birmingham, Alabama?
Selma, I believe.
Wow, Selma. And charting a course through history. That's and your first gig too. Your debut was at a historic venue, right? You have still memories of playing the historic Apollo. Oh
yes, I never in my wildest dreams thought I would be on stage at the Apollo Theater. My mother and my aunt would take me to the Apollo to see Illinois Jacque, a tenor sax player, and they were very big fans of his. And I had no idea within X amount of years that I would be on that stage with people like Chuck Berry and Bo Diddley and the Coasters and the Drifters. It was awesome.
Chuck and Bo, two huge pillars of rock and roll. What were the experiences you got to have with them? Was it just playing alongside of them or actually performing with them?
No, we all toured together. We did what you call the Chitlin circuit,
right.
And we became a family. All those other acts from the 50s and 60s, we really became family. We looked out for one another. As a matter of fact, on some of the places where we couldn't eat, Bo would cook in the hotel, and we found a way. God always provided for us.
I think he's really providing when he's got Bo Diddley cooking for you.
Yes.
What would Bo cook up?
Chicken wings. He was great at it.
Chicken wings. Wow. With Bo Diddley. Chuck Berry always had a reputation as sort of a really tough customer. I was fortunate to see him once only. It was here in Honolulu, and I remember his backing band. I felt for them. It felt like it was maybe a rough night for those folks. Any impressions or experiences with Chuck Berry that stick out?
He was always a gentleman around us. If anything was going on that our young eyes shouldn't see, he would, sort of shoo us away from it. But I remember flying back from a gig, and Chuck was in first class, and he looked back and saw me there, and he came back there and brought me up in first class. He didn't ask the stewardess or anything, and she didn't say anything.
I like that. That's good. Well, good for you. You've had some good encounters with him. One of the most important guys ever on guitar. And you played, do you remember specific venues, or was it a whole series of dates at a lot of different places on a tour?
We did quite a few shows with them all.
You got to also perform for two presidents, I understand, Kennedy among them?
Yes.
What led to playing for John F. Kennedy, and where were you when that happened?
I don't remember exactly where it was. We got a call to do that show. And as a matter of fact, just recently I had a picture blown up of Robert Kennedy Jr. that we took when Ted Kennedy was running for president in 1980. And we were at Ethel Kennedy's home in McLean, Virginia. And he was such a wonderful young man. I was talking to him about tennis. And he said, "Oh, you play tennis?" I said, "Yes." And he said, "Well, go over to..." He told me to the house, and he said, "Pick out whatever you want to wear, and, I'll play you a set." And I said, "There's no way in the world I'm going out on a tennis court with this man. He was raised on tennis."
And so you didn't actually get out there and play?
Oh, there's no way. He could play tennis with his eyes closed.
Right? Part of their DNA practically.
Yes.
Man, playing for John Kennedy, that is huge stuff. But you was there any personal interaction with him, or was it just the performance?
Yeah, he was in the dressing room. I flew on a flight from Boston with Jacqueline Kennedy, and she was in first class, but I was right there behind her, and she was very gracious, and I wanted to ask for her autograph so badly, but, I respected her privacy, and she smiled and she nodded at me like, oh, thank you for letting me, be me.
Right, not be mobbed.
Right.
And then the president himself came into your dressing room by himself with an entourage. How describe the experience?
Well, this was Robert Kennedy Jr. that came in the dressing room.
Okay, that he came.
But we performed for President Johnson also.
Wow, and did President Johnson come over and spend any time?
No, we didn't meet him. That was at Madison Square Garden. We did that show.
Okay, but to be clear, with President Kennedy, no personal. He did not come to the dressing room.
Oh no, I wish he had. It was,
okay.
We were in England when he was assassinated, and when they told us about it, I felt like somebody in my family had been assassinated.
I can imagine the personal connection that you must have felt. Incredible experiences, and some of them also included, it looks like, you have a wonderful photograph of yourself. It's from, I believe it's from 61. It's in Jamaica, pre-Marley, pre-Jimmy Cliff even, touring in Jamaica.
Oh, we had a lot of fun in Jamaica.
Tell us about it. What was that? How did you get that? That's early time, is that right? 61.
Yes. And who was on this picture with us?
It was it was just you guys down there, but I was commenting, I guess, that this is before Bob Marley was known. This is before Jimmy Cliff. You were there in Jamaica, in an important time before reggae really even arrived. Ska was just happening then.
Well, we had quite an experience in Jamaica because one of the guys that was driving us around looked out for us, and whenever we would go to the different vendors, he wouldn't let them cheat us. We came out from the show one night, and they had our car surrounded, and they told him to get out, and they actually beat him because, he was looking out for us.
Trying to extort money from you guys?
Yeah.
How many dates approximately? Was it a tour or just a couple?
Yes, it was a tour. We were in Jamaica for a month.
Wow.
We did Kingston and Montego Bay.
How many shows over the course of a month?
Oh, I don't even remember now, but they worked you a lot in those days.
What was the most exotic place you got to go to, you think?
Oh, performing or on my own? Because I love to travel. In a heartbeat, I'd get another job traveling if I could.
Well, we'll do them in two separate things. First, performance-wise.
Singapore.
That is the most exotic.
And Japan.
What makes it feel exotic when you were there?
There was a different atmosphere in the air, and in Japan, you have really loyal fans over there. They know the music better than some of us do over here in America, and they're very dedicated people. But it was just a whole, like I said, atmosphere.
We talked about the professional things that you did, that you've enjoyed, places that you've played that were most exotic.
I did Israel 3 times, and that was awesome. And that was quite a pilgrimage for me. And I went to South Africa, and then I went to West Africa and Switzerland, because I'd never been to Switzerland. So
when did you visit Israel?
My last visit was in 2004.
Wow. How long each time were you there?
A week. No, 10 days we were there.
That's awesome. That is a spiritual, that's a heavy place.
Yes, it is. And as a matter of fact, when I was eating outside a little cafe, Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow was playing.
Where was that? Do you remember what city?
Tel Aviv.
And did you get to meet any of being the heavyweight musical star that you are, did you get to meet any of the heavyweight political people over, or anybody? I know they sometimes like to meet them.
No, I didn't, but when I went to Egypt, Gaddafi's tour travel agent set up my tour arrangements for me, and somebody from their travel office took me around, so I had a personal guide to take me around.
In Egypt?
Yes.
Was that Mubarak, you mean? Gaddafi was Libya.
I'm sorry, Sadat.
Sadat, okay,
yes,
wow.
I'm saying the wrong, it's Sadat.
No, now you're saying the right one. So that was back in the late 70s, okay. Wow, or early 80s. That's impressive. Is it just as easy to connect in these places where English is the thing you're using to connect with, and in a lot of these places it's not necessarily the most their first language? I mean, in these examples we're using, English is probably pretty well spoken, but do you find there's any difference in trying to connect with these folks or the reaction you get?
No, music is music, and the people knew our music by, the way we sang it. And when we were in Paris, we did a song in French, but they loved it. We did that, but they told us, they would prefer for us to sing in English.
Do you think part of what made you so popular in so many parts of the world was having artists cover you? One of the things that I don't even know how I would deal with it if it was myself. You had the Beatles cover 2 of your songs.
We were getting on a tour bus one night, and one of the guys in the band asked me, he said, "Do you like the Beatles?" I said, "Who are the Beatles?" And then I said, "I love the Beatles." And, John Lennon got wind of that. And it came to America. He said, we were his favorite girl group because, they had recorded our songs. And we were supposed to do a night out with the Beatles, but because of our schedules, we couldn't pull it together.
Never got to meet them?
No, we didn't get a chance to. While they were in town, we were leaving town.
They must have dug your stuff quite a bit to do Boys.
Oh, yes. And the Stones, when we were in Bermuda, one of the Stones, Bill
Wyman, Bill Wyman,
yes.
bassist, yeah.
He was at the show, and, he gave me his number and told me to give him a call, when I'm ever in Paris or here or there. And they were nice guys, and we were in San Remo in Italy. We were on the floor. We were there with, at a music festival. Dionne Warwick was being honored, and Sonny and Cher was there, and the Stones, and Mick Jagger was with Marianne Faithfull at the time. We were all out after their performance and dancing, and it was really a nice night.
A lot of different people have covered you, and it's been American Cats, too, and people like Smokey Robinson.
Yes, Aretha Franklin. As a matter of fact, Aretha had us come to one of her Christmas parties to perform because she loved Blue Holiday, and she treated us so royally. She sent like 2 limousines for us, 2 ladies in each limousine, and put us up in these wonderful suites, and there we were on stage, and there's the Queen of Soul sitting there, smiling.
So she hired you out for her
for her Christmas party.
And who were the guests?
Her family and friends.
And
she does it every year, we've been told.
What a nice treat, huh?
Yes.
What a sign of endorsement. That's heavy. Well, any personal interactions with Carole King as a songwriter over the years that stick out?
When we first saw Carole, she had brought a demo up. In those days, they brought demos up to the record companies, and Luther Dixon was our producer, and he played the song for us, and we didn't like it. Carole was singing on the demo, and it sounded like a country and western song, real twangy. And he said, "No, but you're going to do this song." And when we went into the studio to record it, there was this big orchestra and strings and cellos, and we heard all this lush music playing, and it just fell in love with the song. It was totally different. And Carole King didn't like the way the guy was playing kettle drums, so Carole King is actually playing kettle drums on Will You Love Me Tomorrow.
Oh, neat. That's that's a good bit of trivia that I wouldn't know. And she impressed with the way that you guys did it? Any other interactions with her that stand out?
Yes, well, we were told when the song became number 1, she had the doorbell chime to that melody at her home.
Another nice endorsement. That's cool. That's very cool. And were you there when she played the kettle drum?
Yes.
Things were recorded more live back then, huh?
They were. So, and it was so much better because you could get the whole feel of everything.
What was Dionne like to work with?
Oh, Dion was a wonderful lady. Well, she is still a wonderful lady. I saw her just recently when I went to Dick Clark's memorial service. But Dion, a lot of people aren't aware, was a Shirelle for a minute. When Shirley was pregnant, Dion filled in for her while we were at the Brooklyn Fox with Murray Decay.
Right. Right. Yeah, no, I've
and her mother, would cook for us. We'd go by her mom's house after the show, and we went on with the Four Seasons and different people from the show, and it was really great.
What about the Etta James and Little Richard stuff?
Oh, Etta was like a big sister. We were blessed. We had Etta James, and we had Laverne Baker, and we had people who took us under their wings. Etta taught us how to keep the guys away. We had a guy named Ronnie Evans that traveled with us, but Etta told us, look out for this, look out for that. And, when we went out to party, she'd always look out for us. And Laverne Baker would do our hair. Ruth Brown was another wonderful lady who took us under her wings. She taught us how to dress on our first tour because we went dressed up. We had no knowledge of show business, and we dressed up with the little crinoline skirts. And even ladies from the 50s, you remember the crinolines. And she said, "Hey, you guys, you put on some jeans and be comfortable."
Sounds like a lot of different places. You were fortunate to have mentorship by.
We were always blessed with having people look out for us. It was like even like the Coasters and the Drifters. These guys were like brothers to us.
Anybody on this bill in particular? Stylistics are going to be out here for this one that you guys are doing. Crystals are on this one.
We work with the Crystals quite a lot. They're really good friends.
Manhattans?
I haven't worked with them before, so I'm really looking forward to it, and the Stylistics.
You never worked with them either?
No, I admired them.
Yeah, Airrion Love's a buddy of mine, one of their singers. Great voice. I love those cats. As we go to wrap it up, there's an interesting part of your life that when you think about it. Prior to the Shirelles, were there contemporary groups that were fronted by females that you listened to at all, or in a lot of ways you did really carve the path? Well,
the Chantels were before us, really. We used to sit around after school, listen to WWRL, and there was a disc jockey by the name of Tommy Smalls, Dr. Jive, they call him, and he played songs by Little Anthony Imperials and the Chantels and different people, the Heartbeats, and we would harmonize with those records. And I think if we hadn't heard the Chantels, I don't know if we would have, just started singing.
Wow.
So we really did it for fun, and we would sing at school functions or at little private parties and gatherings. And then the school auditorium at Pacific High, that's when a classmate, Mary Jane Greenberg, approached us about her mom, Florence, who owned a record company.
And things went bad with her mom eventually. Did you stay tight with the daughter, though, the girl, Mary Jean or whatever?
We see her from time to time.
Are you guys still buddies, or what's the story with that relationship?
Oh, she lives in a totally different town.
Okay. Still in Jersey, though?
Yes.
Couple of Jersey girls.
Oh, yes.
It's a pleasure getting to speak with you. I hope that you've enjoyed getting to do this when you come to town. Maybe I'll stop by the show and we'll get to say hi, maybe record a short thing.
I would love that.
Was this okay in the world of interviews you've done? Is this kind of hold up?
You're very thorough. I love it.
Okay. And it means a lot because I know you've been doing interviews a long time, talked to a lot of people. I'm giving you a huge hug. I'm so appreciative, and I'll get in touch with your folks, and we'll do something when you come to town. We'll try to support the show as much as we can. We're really looking forward to seeing you work your magic live.
Great, and please try to come by. I'd love to meet you. Could you tell me, does it get cool at night?
Probably mid-70s at night, mid to low 70s.
Oh, that's comfortable.
Yeah, with a nice breeze, and it'll be mid-80s during the day.
Oh, I can't wait to get there.
With no humidity and a nice breeze, so it's going to be real good.
I love Hawaii.
What a neat bunch of experiences. Well, I'll talk to you more. I will get in touch. Don't worry. I'll do a follow-up when you get here. Count on it.
Okay, great.
Count on it. I give you a big hug, and I encourage you to travel safely. I look forward to seeing you when you get here.
Thank you. A big hug to you and blessings.
Right back at you. Be safe, okay. Bev. Aloha.
All right. Aloha. Bye.